everybody, welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons and Dragons, and today we're talking about new Dragonborn.
Subraces.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome, adventurers, to the Dungeoncast.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Will.
How you doing today?
I'm doing fucking great, man. Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good, too.
Start the show with more F-bombs. Everybody loves that.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't they all? We never hear bad things about our cursing.
No. Welcome to our show.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to the Dungeoncast.
We talk about Dungeons and Dragons here.
Yeah, and we do it with dirty mouths.
And we're going to say the word dragon a lot. And
Yeah,
we're going to tack on
we
some suffix stuff, I guess.
It's true. Today we're talking about new Dragonborn stuff. So recently, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons came out. By recently, I say about a month and some change ago.
Fizban!
And it's got a lot of juicy dragon stuff, and we're almost through the bulk of it, and we're pretty much ending it on the Dragonborn stuff, which I'm excited for.
Well, Will, you're not wrong. Fizban did come out. We are talking about dragon stuff. We talked about the Drake Warden and all the Gem Dragons.
We did. And we
did
talked about the
episode.
Ascended Dragon Monk.
That was cool.
Yes, and now we're talking about Dragonborn.
That image work
And we
for
got
the Ascended Dragon Monk where he's like in front of the gold dragon.
Yes, I
That's
liked
dope.
it. I put it in the thumbnail. It was really nice. So the original playable race features from the Player's Handbook were not bad by any means, but I always did find them a bit underwhelming when compared to, say, tieflings or elves. You know, multiple spells, different subrace options, actual dark vision in a game where they all have dark vision. Why doesn't the dragon character have dark vision? I don't know.
I have dark vision.
Yeah, by the way, even the subraces that we introduced today don't have dark vision. So
I actually don't have dark vision.
yeah, none of us do, except for unless you're a D&D character. Tieflings and elves actually get a ton of options considering their expansions from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes.
Okay.
So not only were they already a little bit better than Dragonborn were originally, but they got way expanded upon.
Okay.
Well, now it's the Dragonborn's turn, and we have 3 new subraces based off of the 3 major types of true dragons. There are updated breath features and newly added features like flight and psychic powers, and more.
Remind me what a true dragon is.
The idea of the true dragons is like you have chromatic, you have metallic, and you have gem dragons, right? And everything else is either a permutation or a spin-off. So like a wyvern's not a true dragon. A fairy dragon's not a true dragon. A pseudo dragon's not a true dragon.
Yeah, those are like that show Joey, which was just the character from Friends, like out of universe doing a show about the character
I was
Joey.
like, where are you going with this? No, that's a good analog. Okay, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever watch any episodes of Joey?
No, I did not. To be fair, I didn't watch Friends either. So
Friends sucks. Get at me.
I think Friends was a product of its time. I say
You're
as a person
absolutely
who
right
never
about
watched
that.
it. Yeah,
The 90s had cool stuff.
and it had not cool stuff
And
too.
it had Friends.
It had Friends.
And Seinfeld. How do you feel about Seinfeld?
I fucking hate Seinfeld.
Thank God.
I hate
Thank you.
Seinfeld.
90s sitcoms are bad. Most of them are bad. Saved by the Bell? Yes,
All right.
I'll take it.
Okay, let's. We're having an aside now. If we're talking about 90s TV shows, give me Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hey,
that's
a
jam.
good one.
That's my
The
jam
old
right there.
Supernatural.
I never watched that. But
I didn't either.
you're talking about Buffy was the old
Buffy was Supernatural
Okay,
before
gotcha.
Supernatural took its place
Sure,
after
absolutely.
Buffy ended.
Give me Buffy the Vampire Slayer all day. That's all I need.
Didn't that have a spin-off show about
Angel,
yeah.
which was okay. It was okay. Yeah.
So
Anyways,
we're not talking about Angel, we're talking about Buffy.
we're
terms
talking
of
about
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn is what we're talking about now. So let's get back to it.
Yeah.
So, before we dive into the new sub-races, though, let's do a brief overview of the OG racial template for when we compare and contrast.
The original gangsters.
The original Dragonborn. Did you want to do this read, or do you want? Maybe I'll do the front half. You'll do the back half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go
I'll
for
do
that.
Okay. So. Original Dragonborn. Dragonborn traits. Your draconic heritage manifests in a variety of traits you share with other Dragonborn. Your ability score increases are to strength and charisma. This is actually one of the first things we're going to see because, again, all the new sub-races and all the new races, they are abandoning the built-in ability scores, and it's based off whatever you choose for your background for your character, which I think is the way it should be.
I like them having the so it's 2 strength, 1 charisma, and I like that is like, hey, here's what it usually is.
Yeah, and I do like that there is a suggestion because like the strength represents how strong dragons are, and the charisma, again, dragons have a incredibly powerful presence.
Yeah.
So yeah. Age: young Dragonborn grow quickly. They walk hours after hatching, attain the size and development of an adult at 10 years old. No,
of a
10-year-old child by age 3. Holy crap! And reach adulthood by 15. They live to be around 80. Alignment: Dragonborn tend to be two extremes. Now, I think this was written back when we only had chromatic metallic. So they were drawn to the extremes of like lawful good and chaotic evil. But
More
now,
geared toward like a paladin or a cleric.
yeah, but now with neutral dragons, that kind of doesn't make as much sense anymore because now not
How do you
only
have a neutral version of this?
right now not only is there Bahamut and Tiamat, but there's Sardior, so they can gravitate to any of those.
Love you,
Extreme
Sardior.
neutrality. Their size medium, speed, base walk 30 feet. None of this has really changed. Okay, here we get into some of the different stuff. So Draconic Ancestry. You have Draconic Ancestry. Choose one type of dragon from the Draconic Ancestry table. Your breath weapon and damage resistance are determined by the dragon type as shown in the table. And at the time, it was the 5 main metallics and the 5 main chromatic. So we're talking red, black, green, blue, white, and we're talking gold, silver, brass, bronze, and copper. Those were your options. You got a breath weapon with it. Your Draconic Ancestry determined the size, shape, and damage type. When you use your breath weapon, each creature in the area of the exhalation must make a saving throw, the type of which is determined by your Draconic Ancestry. DC is 8 plus your con mod plus your proficiency bonus. A creature takes 2d6 damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one, and then this damage scaled to a 3d6 at 6th level, and a 4d6 at 11th level, and a 5d6 at 16th level.
So much like a cantrip. That way your ability doesn't go to the wayside necessarily as you level.
Right, and then after you use your breath weapon, you can't use it until a short or long rest. Now, this all gets changed with the 3 sub-races, and I'm very happy with it.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that when we get to the newer sub-races.
So with your breath weapon being like determined by your Draconic Ancestry, that would just fall into like lightning, fire, like that sort of thing?
Yes, exactly.
And then the shape would be either like a line or a cone.
Yes, based off... Now, this is for the original Dragonborn. The shape varies based off type. They unify it in the newer subraces, which we'll get to, where it's I think it's a line no matter what.
Okay.
It's a line no matter what. The type is still based off of your Draconic Ancestry, but the damage and how it scales is also changed, and I much prefer it. Also, the usage amount, the way they calculate that changes, and I like the way they do that too. We'll get to it though after we're finished with
Cone, cylinder, and sphere magic seem to be more powerful than lines typically.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe I'm misremembering, but we'll get to it. I do remember it being unified, though.
Okay.
The OG Dragonborn then gets damage resistance based off their dragon type. And then that's it. They get their language, and that's it. And
Just one language.
well, they get Dragonborn and Common.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the few things I want to note on the Player's Handbook Dragonborn are these points. Number 1, I think they are underwhelming in comparison to some of the other races, even early on in 5e, like I said before. There's only 2 features, specifically the breath weapon, and the breath weapon ends up having better damage scaling later. Not something huge, but enough to feel better as a player when choosing to take the action, which I think is really important.
Okay.
I think a lot of times we gloss over that aspect of like, but how does it feel as a player doing it? You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right.
A lot of people do damage calculation, which is cool. That's awesome. And I do that too sometimes. But like, I think we gloss over, but how does it feel? Does it feel successful? Do you feel effective? Like, did you have a cool moment?
Yeah, and a lot of that comes down to player dungeon master, like the chemistry that you have
Sure,
there.
yeah,
Like, is
absolutely.
your dungeon master going to help you explain what it looks like? Because taking a big deep breath and then letting out this fucking heat or whatever from
Yeah.
your mouth,
Should feel cool.
It should look and feel cool.
Yeah.
It should be something that gets described, you know?
Yeah, absolutely,
At least the first
absolutely.
few times until
And
like it kind of gets like...
It should be something that when it happens, you know, and it hits, like the enemy should be, you know, number 1 feeling that heat, but you as a team should be, fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. As a dungeon master, I always try to like, if you obliterate somebody with something, the enemy next to them should be like, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I always try to
Yes,
include
yes,
that. 'Cause
absolutely,
it's funny.
it is, and that's a great DM technique for sure. Before the new subraces came out, I would have originally made 2 changes to make this more in line with the other racial options.
Before Fizban.
Before Fizban. This would have been my idea. Number 1, proficiency in intimidation to represent dragon fear of their ancestry, and an increase to the damage of the breath. Those are the changes I would have made. Now let's see the changes that they did make.
Yeah, I agree. There should be a little more potent than a cantrip. You know, like
Yeah, a little more. Yeah, more potent than the cantrip.
It
They
kind
should
of
get
is,
a little
right?
bit more.
Like already here.
What, the dragon breath?
as it was?
As
Or
it was-
It looked cantrippy-ish to
It was
me. I wasn't
basically
sure.
a cantrip.
Yeah.
But without the ability to do it every turn. So worse
Exactly.
than a cantrip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the changes that they did make, I think, are probably better than what I originally would have thought of. So let's get into it, starting with the one closest to the original Dragonborn, Chromatic Dragonborn.
Okay.
So Dragonborn with Chromatic ancestry claim the raw elemental power of chromatic dragons. The vibrant colors of black, blue, green, red, and white dragons gleam in those Dragonborn's scaled skin and in the deadly energy of their breath weapons. Theirs is the raw elemental fury of the volcano, of biting Arctic winds, and of raging lightning storms, as well as the subtle whisper of swamp and forest, toxic and corrosive.
Ooh, I got chills.
So, of the 3 new subraces we're covering today, this one is the closest to the original Player's Handbook version. It's essentially a souped-up version of the original Dragonborn.
Okay, nice.
So, Chromatic Dragonborn traits. You have the following racial traits.
Get ready for this DLC, everybody.
Creature type, you are humanoid. Size, you are medium. Speed, your walking speed is 30 feet. All the same as the original, of course. I don't think that changes for any of them.
That's just 5e. You can't really manipulate that stuff too much.
5e, you're medium, you'll walk 30 feet. There's nothing you can do about it.
Unless you're short, and
You
then
might
you
have
walk
dark vision.
25.
That's true.
And then if you're
That's
a barbarian, you get to go 40, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So, Chromatic Ancestry. You have a Chromatic Dragon ancestor granting you a special magical affinity. Choose one kind of dragon from the Chromatic Ancestry table. This determines the damage type for your other traits as shown in the table. And again, it's your 5. It's blue, green, black, white, red. And your breath weapon matches. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation of magical energy in a 30-foot line that is 5 feet wide. Each creature in the area must make a dexterity saving throw. The DC is 8 plus your con mod plus your proficiency bonus, so that part's the same. Not the little bit before it, though.
Also 5e. We
yeah.
scale everything like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, before I go on, so number 1, already love this. You integrate it with your multiple attack. Most Dragonborn are going to be a fighter or a paladin or someone.
They're
going to
get the multi-attack.
You get the multi-attack. And how fucking cool is it? It's like, bam, bam, oh yeah? Whoa!
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking cool. It's like, holy shit.
Fucking hammer to the dome.
Like he sliced off Bob's head and then he breathed fire on Jeff. Like, holy shit.
He sliced off Bob's hand, and then he grabbed Bob's arm where his hand was, and he breathed lightning straight into his fucking arm, man. Bob! Jeff was like, oh my god. And next turn, backhand, and then breath again.
Exactly. It's way cooler. It's just way cooler. And I think the DPS is also just much better. So
yeah, smack, vomit is way cooler than vomit and then never see it again.
Yeah, exactly, yes. So on a failed save, the creature takes a d10 damage of the type associated with your chromatic ancestry. On a successful save, it takes half as much. This damage increases by 1d10 when you reach 5th, 11th, and 17th level. So this maxes out at 4d10 by end game.
That's good.
And
that's a lot.
I think it's actually fairly comparable to the other one, but with 2 things. Number 1, d10s are funner to roll. But number 2, it is slightly more DPS across the board. Especially, I think once you reach 5th level, it outscales the OG Dragonborn.
I'm looking up Eldritch Blast. I want to compare it to Eldritch Blast.
Okay, it's basically, I think it's basically Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, because now we're doing D10.
It's like Firebolt, really. Blast. It's more like Firebolt because Eldritch Blast is multiple attacks, while Firebolt is one attack that scales, and it's a D10.
You're right about that. I just like an Eldritch Blast is like a go-to. It is like the best cantrip.
It's the best cantrip
damage-wise,
yes,
right?
Undisputed.
1d10 force damage, and then 11th level, 4 beams. So you're really getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is cool. You're right about the Firebolt thing though.
Right. And then so last thing about the breath is you can use your breath weapon a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Now this is a weird rebalancing. I do like it though, because the old way is like you only got 1, but it was every short rest, so you could do it X amount of times. This is tied to your proficiency bonus, so you're going to start off with 2. I think by end game you have 6 breaths that you could get in a day.
Yeah.
I like this better for a couple reasons. Number 1, it's really cool in a big fight of you just being able to pop it off multiple times. Just bam, 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 bam. You really feel like a dragon person at that point.
Yeah.
Rather than, I burned my 1.
Right.
Another thing, and I think we deal with this in our campaign, specifically Super Quest Saga.
Great show. Go watch it.
Yeah,
it's
please,
on all your
do.
podcasting apps
Yes.
and YouTube.
We're getting close to the end. I cannot wait to
We are on
crescendo it.
We are on hiatus.
We are on hiatus.
Because then
Freeland had a
baby
baby
came.
So
we were sick, and then the baby came.
Yeah, but
the baby came early.
I digress. But Super Quest Saga, where it's actually kind of rare to have more than 1, maybe 2 fights in a day.
Exactly,
So
especially the style of which we play that show.
That's more our style, but I think a lot of people feel that. And I think when you're a Dragonborn, it becomes like, I only get to use this once per session. It only ever happens once per session.
Yeah, it's 5e feels like they really want you to take a short rest after everything, but how many of those little oranges can I eat in a day?
I only got so many orange slices.
I only have so much water on me. Like, are we near a lake? Like,
Yeah, okay.
what's up?
Yeah.
And
Well-
no, it really does feel like fight, take a rest. That's what they intend, especially for
But
the
that's
warlock.
kind of not the way it ends up working out.
It depends on your game, but yeah, like who's realistically in a dungeon? Like, let's just sit here for an hour. Is that going to work?
Right.
I don't know.
I'm with you there.
It may or may not work. It's up
This
to the
fixes that though.
DM.
This makes it so like, hey, you get 6. You could spread it out across your day however you want.
Yeah.
And I think it's excellent. Love
Yeah.
it.
Do you want a pocket one for emergencies? Like never hit 0? Like,
Yeah.
like your
Sure.
elixirs in Pokemon.
Exactly.
You either burned
Yeah.
them all and you didn't know what you're doing, or you have 9 of them at the
My
end of the game.
gameplay in Pokemon has changed so drastically. Ethers and elixirs just get used constantly because I'm like,
do-
who cares?
just fucking
I'm just gonna
do
use
it,
them.
man.
I'm just gonna use them.
Is now the time? Do I need fucking Fire Blast?
Right now?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, the next feature is called Draconic Resistance. It's exactly the same as the old one. You resist the type that you breathe. Here's the new feature. You get a third feature that the old Dragonborn didn't get, Chromatic Warding. Starting at 5th level, as an action, you can channel your Draconic energy to protect yourself. For 1 minute, you become immune to the damage type associated with your Chromatic ancestry. Once you use this trait, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest.
That's cool.
So I like this. It's not bad. This subrace. It's essentially a better version of the OG Dragonborn.
This is your overall kind of take on it?
Yeah, my overall take on it. Chromatic warding is cool, but it is very situational.
Yes. Yeah.
Fire is probably the most common, best element to have for this feature because fire is so common.
Lots of fire aspect stuff.
But it is campaign dependent. A good DM will, of course, make sure you get to shine with this feature at least once in a major situation in a campaign. Like if I have a player who's got chromatic warding, and maybe it doesn't come up a lot, I'm gonna make sure like, okay, in this section of the story, chromatic warding is gonna be so valuable and they're gonna shine really brightly with this.
Yeah, like this is like pertinent to the survival of the group maybe in some way. Like,
Yeah.
or you wouldn't have done as well without this sort of
Right.
like, don't like make a contingent, I guess, on like one character being the
No, but make sure that like it's just sad as like, oh, I never got to use my chromatic warding. Like it's a waste of a feature. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
that's always a sucky feeling. But I will say this: there's a flip side to what I just said about the fire, though. Fire is the best for chromatic warding because it is so common. But at the same time, if you choose it, it's also your offensive breath, and it's the worst offensive breath to have, besides necrotic, which we'll get into later, because it is the most commonly resisted by enemies.
Yes.
So
yeah.
it's
Double-edged
give and
sword.
take, double-edged sword. Yeah. So
Double-edged burning arrow. I don't even know.
sure, absolutely.
A coal hot on both sides.
Should this subrace still have that intimidation proficiency that I proposed earlier in the day? What do you think?
Should
Do you think it's good where it is with it's got the redone breath? Mm-hmm. It's got the same resistance it used to have, and it's got the new chromatic warding.
I mean, I kind of like the upgrade. It feels like they're rebalancing things.
Yeah, I agree.
And this kind of brings these subclasses back up to where I feel like other classes
should
are.
be. Yeah, races, but yeah.
I love tying things to proficiency.
I do too.
I am a huge fan
It's
of
a
that
great
across the
yeah.
board. I don't want to do it for everything, but an ability like that with like the breath, that's the right feel. Like as you get more powerful, you should be able to pop that thing off like a bunch of times.
Yeah, sure,
Like if I
absolutely.
want to do it 3 times in one fight, that should be a thing at the level you're at. You deserve it. you know?
Agreed. I think this subrace is really good. I think it's totally on par with everything else. I'd still throw in the intimidation proficiency if it was up to me, just because I think of the 3 subraces we're talking about today, chromatic is the least powerful. So it is a step down from the metallic and gem ones we're going to talk about later. And also, when I think about Dragon Fear, I do tend to think chromatics are the ones that utilize that the most.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling like it should still be there almost.
The intimidation
The
proficiency?
intimidation,
Yeah, I think it should be
like-
there. Yeah. It's not there, but I wish it was.
But I see like a lot more of like the slender, like kind of meeker Dragonborn too. Like they're not all like thick, burly, like
They're
beast mode monsters all the time.
Yeah, and guess what? Like you get the natural boost to your intimidation for being Dragonborn and having that Dragon Fear effect or whatever. But like maybe you're just bad at it anyways. You know what I mean?
there
it's
could,
just a little smidge of a boost.
yeah.
You'll see when we talk about the next two,
Okay.
like that the chromatic ones are not as powerful.
Okay,
But we'll do that.
It just the fact that they took it away feels more in line.
Well,
with
no,
the,
they never took anything away.
Oh,
I was just suggesting that it should always have been there.
Oh, okay.
And like I was asking if, even though this is more powerful, should it still get that intimidation proficiency that I proposed?
I mean,
You don't think so?
You don't have to do that on the stat sheet. Like maybe your world kind of provides that for you.
Fair enough.
Or like the dragon lore you're bringing to the table as a game master might like imply because you're a dragonborn. But I feel like D&D wise, like with the way the game is going now, that like kind of leveling that stuff off and not making those assumptions or having the player make those
Right.
assumptions is kind of what they're going for.
I think you're right. Absolutely. But let's take a short rest.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. This is Tom Case.
And this is Will Stark.
Will, could you imagine if we had our own podcast?
Dude, could you imagine?
What if the Loch Ness Monster was real?
Do you think they would open like essentially a quote unquote Jurassic Park for this?
Oh no,
like,
no, they're
Nessie
not going to
Park
let
or
anyone
something?
look at it.
What if your house was haunted?
Let's say it was a woman. She wants companionship.
No,
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
and I'm not talking about like love
okay.
or sex or anything.
Okay,
You know, I was gonna bring this up, but I knew you were gonna say no. So
What if someone close to you was a werewolf?
set up a camera. It would still be a full moon, so she would turn into a wolf monster. Go out in the night, probably kill some people. Oops.
yeah,
I mean, nothing I can do about that.
The best in what if entertainment. Just search Dude Could You Imagine anywhere podcasts can be found.
We've returned.
Indeed we have.
I don't normally get the slurps in, man, but now I got this cool mug. I got a new mug. We made a TikTok about it. Find
Yeah.
us on TikTok.
I also got a new mug. It's from our merch store. Check the link in the description if you want a sweet Dungeoncast mug.
We got a new merch store, and then I'm on Instagram by myself, aside from the Dungeoncast. BND&D _ mirror the letters. You should find me BND&D. Because
Okay.
then it's BND&D _ BNBND.
That's super confusing, Brian.
Well, don't worry about the second part.
Okay.
Just worry about BND&D. Brian
Alright.
and Dungeons and Dragons. It's literally just all lowercase letters. You'll see me. I've got
Heck
pictures
yeah.
of me and my kid on there.
All right, so back to Dragonborn, and we are now going to talk about Gem Dragonborn.
Nice.
So Gem Dragonborn, Gem Dragonborn.
No, we don't wanna watch Dragonborn.
No. Gem Dragonborn.
There's a whole Reddit sub for that.
partake of the heritage of Gem Dragons, who claim to be the heirs of Sardior, the Ruby Dragon. Check out our Gem Dragon episode if you want more about that. The colors and mysterious powers of Gem Dragons, amethyst, crystal, emerald, sapphire, and topaz, gleam in these Dragonborn's scaled skin and course through their veins. Theirs are the wonders of the mind, the force of will, the brilliant light of insight, and the resounding echo of discovery, but also the desiccation of despair.
Dang.
You want to talk about the Gem Dragonborn traits, Brian?
Yeah, I do.
all yours.
Let me take this thing from you. Gem Dragonborn traits. You have the following racial traits. You're a creature. You're a humanoid creature.
You are a person.
You are existing, bipedal in a way. You're medium. Let's see. You have 30 feet walking speed. All things we've addressed earlier in the podcast. Gem ancestry. You have a gem dragon ancestor granting you a special magical affinity. Choose one kind of dragon from the gem ancestry table. This determines the damage type for your other traits as shown in the table.
Which I believe are, off the top of my head, because we don't have the table in front of us, Thunder, Force, Psychic, Necrotic, Radiant.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Yeah.
So the breath weapon. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with an exhalation of magical energy in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a DC dexterity saving throw of 8 plus your con plus your proficiency. On a failed save, the creature takes 1d10 damage of the type associated with your gem ancestry. On a successful save, it takes half as much damage. This damage increases by 1d10 when you reach 5th level, making it 2d10, and then 11th level you're going to get 3d10, 17th level 4d10, just like the other thing,
Just like the other thing.
Eldritch Blast.
Same with
and
the
Firebolt.
numbers and all the other stuff.
I guess not just like Eldritch Blast, just like Firebolt.
Just like Firebolt.
Yeah, and not in a line, in a cone.
Yeah, which Firebolt is single target, so it's a little
Firebolt.
different.
This is nothing
It's
like
kind of its own thing.
only damage scaling.
Okay. I will say this: it is exactly like the Chromatic one, except for it's inherently better damage wise because you can choose Force and Psychic specifically, which are very rarely
Less
resisted.
resisting,
I
yeah.
mean, Force is almost never resisted.
That's why Eldritch Blast is so good.
Yes, true that. But on the flip side, Thunder's also pretty solid, but Necrotic and Radiant are actually pretty poor offensive choices, especially Necrotic. Necrotic is undisputedly the worst one you can choose if you're looking at a metagame kind of perspective, because it is, I think, the most widely resisted element by monsters, because there's so much evil monsters.
Yeah,
and so many of them resist Necrotic.
They don't give a
So
shit
it
about
looks
your necrotic
awesome,
energy.
but
They are
like,
necrotic energy.
Yeah, maybe for an evil campaign when you're fighting things that aren't evil. Radiant is almost as bad, with the caveat of it does have extra goodness against certain enemies.
Yeah, you do a little more. I think that's one of the only ones that actually does more damage sometimes.
Yeah, I know that it can cause like easier crits on zombies. Oh god, it's been so long since I even looked at a zombie stat block.
It's been like 2 years since we did a zombie episode.
Yeah, it's true. I'm about to do a lot of zombie stuff pretty soon here. Spoilers for our Patreon. Anyways, let's get back to Dragonborn.
You can use your breath weapon a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Is that not? That's a long rest only, huh? Not short rest anymore.
Yeah, that's a new way they're doing it. Yeah.
And you're gonna get the Draconic resistance. You have resistance to the damage type associated with your gem ancestry, so you could resist psychic damage
Or force damage, which is super
great.
sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
really
clear
good.
winners here.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, okay. Psionic Mind. You can send telepathic messages to any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share language with the creature for it to understand these messages, but it must be able to understand at least one language to comprehend them. So,
And we're not done, because they get another one.
Gem Flight, starting at 5th level, you can use a bonus action to manifest spectral wings on your body. We've covered this a little bit already, huh? These wings last for 1 minute. For the duration, you gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed. In this case, 30, and can hover. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Once you use this trait, you can't do it again, ever, unless you rest for a long time.
Okay.
Which is a long rest.
So, thoughts. This is inherently way better than the Chromatic Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Because you get flight and you get psychic telepathy powers, plus your elements are better both defensively and offensively.
And even if you pick one of the bad ones,
it's still, you get flight and telepathy.
Yeah.
Limited telepathy.
Yeah.
And limited flight, but you still get both.
and the bad ones are bad for the reasons we said. Like,
Exactly.
you probably don't want to take the necrotic
But they're fucking
one.
cool.
Which
I want to
dra-
breathe radiant light on your face.
Which dragon was the necrotic one? Was that the
Topaz.
Topaz?
Topaz, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they're nasty little sea devils.
Kinda, I
Coast
guess
devils.
so. Yeah, kinda.
Coasty
I mean, I like
boys.
it. They're just really grouchy about everything. They're
Nah.
not evil or anything.
They just have a bad attitude, and it results in necrotic energy.
Yeah, so here are my thoughts. Badass gem aesthetic, that's awesome. You got sapphire skin, that's fucking cool.
Yes.
The breath weapon has better selection of elements. Can you scroll up a bit? Psychic Force, Thunder, Radiant, Necrotic. Specifically, Psychic Force have very few enemies that resist them. Automatic telepathy is a much better feature than chromatic warding. It's the opposite of situational. It's great for stealth and subterfuge, great for communication with NPCs that don't share a language with any party member, and great for telling secret jokes, which is always fun.
Yeah, everybody loves secret jokes.
Yeah, getting flight at a relatively low level without burning spell slots and with hover is very nice, and catapults the subrace as far and above the most powerful than the last two that we talked about.
So this is the year, we're talking about dragons a lot.
We are talking about
this
dragons this month.
But we know a lot about hovering because of beholders. And we've
True.
covered a lot of the physics of hovering
Yes.
throughout this year's beholder episodes. You can get body slammed into the ground, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but
you're fine.
like, you just
You can't be knocked
You just
prone.
boost back
you can't
up.
Be knocked
Yeah,
prone.
you're
And
good.
you can't be knocked out of the sky. So
there's nothing like it.
Yeah. So
nothing like
this is easily the best of the subraces that we're talking about today.
You want to do the metallic?
Yeah, I could do metallic, but that's why I brought up the idea of maybe we should add like a dragon fear or an intimidation or something to this chromatic, because
Give it something to boost it back up to
it is now fallen behind yet again. If we liken it to the original Dragonborn,
you
stat
don't get
block.
to be OG though if you don't pick the chromatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. And now we're going to talk about metallic, which sits somewhere between the two when it comes to
Like power scaling?
optimization, if you will.
I see.
Yeah. So metallic Dragonborn. Dragonborn with metallic ancestry lay claim to the tenacity of metallic dragons: brass, bronze, copper, gold, and silver, whose hues glint in their scales. Theirs is the fire of hearth and forge, the cold of high mountain air, the spark of inspiration, and the scouring touch of acid that purifies. That's a stretch. That's a bit of a stretch. Metallic Dragonborn traits, we're going to skip. Yeah, you're humanoid. Yeah, you're medium. Yeah, you walk 30 feet. No, you don't have dark vision.
You walk 30 feet if you feel like it.
If you feel like it. But no more. No more.
Can you imagine? Like you walk,
Yeah.
you have to walk 30 feet this round to figure it out.
Figure it out. You just walk in a circle.
Oh god.
All right, metallic ancestry. We're not gonna rehash this. You get to pick one of the 5 metallic dragon types. You get a breath weapon tied to that dragon type.
Mm-hmm.
You get a resistance tied to that dragon type.
So this is going to be a 15-foot cone, not
This
a
is-
line.
Ye-
Right?
Yeah.
So
I
just like
believe
the
yeah.
like the gem.
Yeah. So and like you said, cones tend to be better than lines.
Cones are slightly better than lines, depending on like what enemy attacks you in a straight line. What enemy attacks you in a diagonal line?
That's a good point.
Are you in a hallway?
That's a
like,
good point.
do you go to do all your fighting in hallways? Cone is better. Cone is better.
Cone is better. Area effect is better than straight line. It's going to have the same damage calculation as what we said. So it's a souped up damage calculation. It's going to be the same number of times per day as what we've talked about with all the other ones that aren't the OG. Again, you get draconic resistance. You're limited to the same fire, ice, acid, poison, and lightning. Lightning's best. And then you get your extra feature as a metallic dragonborn. You get a metallic breath weapon on top of your regular breath weapon.
So you're gonna have 2 breath weapons.
You have 2 breath weapons.
That's twice as many.
Twice as many. At 5th level, you gain a second breath weapon. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with an exhalation in a 15-foot cone. Save DC for this breath is 8 plus your con mod plus your proficiency bonus. It's a dex save. Whenever you use this trait, choose one of the following. Number 1, Envenerating Breath. Each creature... Enervating Breath. Each creature in the cone must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or become incapacitated until the start of your next turn.
This is good. This is good.
It's just
status effects.
Yeah, there we go.
We're missing those.
Indeed. Repulsion Breath. Each creature in the cone must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 20 feet away from you and be knocked prone.
That's really good.
Yeah. Once you use your metallic breath weapon, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So my thoughts on this, it's very similar to the Chromatic with a feature swap. The secondary breath is pretty cool. Basically a 1-turn stun or a big push and a knockdown.
Yeah, is this tied still like... So is my proficiency bonus pooled in for both?
Yes. So
Okay.
it shares the same resource. So
Okay.
it is...
I don't have... If I have 4 proficiency bonus of 4, I don't get 4 of each of these breaths. I get
No,
4
not at
total
all.
breaths, but I get
Exactly.
to pick between the 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the main thing about this is just utility. The being able to choose, do I want to do damage or am I in a situation where a stun actually works out better? Maybe my barbarian wants to fucking chop a head off. Stun, okay, I'll let the barbarian take care of it. Or maybe this goblin is standing too close to a cliff edge. Bam, I'll just knock him off.
Maybe
He's
there's
just
a
gone.
cliff right there.
Like, rather than do damage, maybe I can take care of this thing in a single breath.
So,
you know?
sorry, was this one conical as well, or is this a single target?
Conical as well.
So you can cone like a bunch of kobolds off a fucking ledge?
Yep. Or you can cone a bunch of kobolds to be stunned.
Or I could cone a bunch of kobolds into a pit of spikes
Yeah, absolutely. That they built.
that they built themselves because
Yeah.
they're kobolds.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I could cone a bunch of kobolds underneath an X that the kobolds drew on the ground where my wizard can mage hand like the lever to pull and drop the rocks from the net above.
That the kobolds put up.
That the
there.
kobolds put up.
Okay.
'cause they're
Yeah,
kobolds.
exactly. Absolutely.
And
You
I'm a
can do
dragon.
all those things.
I'm a dragon, and kobolds are. I'm a dragonborn, and kobolds are a fucking abomination to me.
I mean, maybe, sure. But either way, this is something the metallic dragonborn can do that the chromatic one cannot.
Yes, that the chromatic one, or I would argue,
Or the gem
gem.
one. Yeah, or the gem one.
They do
can
their own cool shit.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, they do their own cool shit.
So far, I'm not picking the chromatic,
I know.
chromatic ever again.
Like, I would just because I like the aesthetic. I think they're cool. But yeah, they are lacking.
What is with the disparity here? Like, why did they do that?
I don't know.
It's very obvious.
Yes, it is.
Fuck.
I don't know.
This was your chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Make 'em
like,
all
I
even.
would, like literally, if a player of mine was like, I want to do a chromatic one, but it's a little underwhelming. Can we add something to it? I go, you want an intimidation proficiency?
I got something for you.
Yeah, I
Give
got
them a
something
character
for you.
sheet,
Yeah,
and the fucking
exactly.
intimidation's
Yeah,
bubbled in
yeah,
already.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, you fill this one out around that, okay? Don't erase that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you know what? You write a little E next to it. Like, now it's double that.
Yeah, there we go.
Expertise.
Absolutely.
Get mad.
Get mad. Get
mad.
Get real mad.
Tell people you're going to sue them.
Any thoughts, any questions, any comments, concerns about the Dragonborn?
I'm concerned about the chromatic dragonborn, but you know,
it'll be
I just
alright.
talked about that.
It'll
so
be okay.
yeah, it'll be fine. Just give them intimidation, proficiency, and expertise. That's
right.
not enough.
No, but
That's
it's
not enough.
something. It's
but
something.
it is something.
Then let's get ready for a long rest.
Okay,
Let's go. Are we going?
let's fucking go, dude.
Let's go. Are we here?
Are
we there yet?
Welcome to the long rest.
Hi.
Will, say something long.
Long.
Long rest. It's gross.
Stupid.
Hey, we're gonna build a beholder now.
Indeed, we are. I think we're almost done.
We're almost done.
Why? I feel like we were super on it with the first 3, and for this guy, we fell apart.
He gets away from
We
us every
mentally
time.
fell apart. It's like I can barely even picture what this guy looks like.
It's because we know what next year is gonna be.
Yeah,
when
I'm
are we,
already moved on to the next year.
we are. When are we announcing that? Next year? Are we just not gonna say anything? All of a sudden, there's gonna be new podcast art.
Yeah,
watch our
let's-
thumbnail, and then you'll know.
Yeah, let's not say anything because I have planned for the first episode of the new year to be on topic. So
Yes,
it'll
perfect.
be a new
Excellent.
thumbnail and the topic, and you're gonna read it and you're gonna know.
There are 3 people who know what next year's topic are gonna be.
Yeah.
Me, Will, and then someone I told in person that I won't tell. I'm not gonna tell everybody. You know who you are.
I mean, to be fair, Tom also knows,
Oh,
and so does my
damn.
fiance.
Okay, there are 5 people who know. One of them is Tom,
One of them is Tom.
and one of them is a guy
There's somebody
that's
that is not necessarily associated with the show, but is also
is
kind of
absolutely
absolutely.
absolutely associated with
Okay,
the show.
let's build this beholder.
Okay.
You
know who
you want
are.
to? What do you? I'll do the feature.
Oh yeah.
We're
go
giving
ahead,
this
go
guy the Gem Dragon spectral wings.
Yes.
I keep picturing it amethyst, but you know what? Let's just whatever the color of the weird crystal moldy cheese skin is.
Yeah, the most current art from the Hobble Man in the Discord is, and yes, that Hobble Man is wingless because we're doing that now, but it's just the moldy cheese skin and not the crystalline one yet.
Dude, I was so excited for our final beholder. I was like, we got this. We've done 3 great ones. We're going to do our best one now. This undisputably is our worst one.
It's the worst
It's
looking
the
one,
worst one.
but it has some of the best beams.
That's true. The beams are straight fire. I mean, they're not actual fire because they're things like blood and ghosts, but they're fucking cool.
Rick the Greek Rancher has a fire beam, and it's because I on the DM episode I took the liberty to give him that specifically because I was like, do our beholders shoot fire? I don't know.
Well, this one does.
This
Okay.
one
doesn't, but the
this
last
one doesn't
did.
yet. Maybe there's still
Okay.
time.
What beam are we giving it today?
The beam is going to be the conical push beam.
Okay, so we're giving it the metallic breath beam.
It is not only conic. Yeah, it's the
It
metallic.
is very conical.
It is very conical. It's conic, not only conical but also iconic. Iconical.
Sure.
Eye,
Oh,
beholder,
yeah, God.
cone,
That's the worst.
ickle.
Yes, sure, absolutely.
I don't know what to say about that last.
It pushes things 20 feet specifically.
Yeah, is there-
preferably over cliffs.
So if there's a bunch of kobolds in the room, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, push them into their own traps or off a cliff.
So we got a new merch store.
Yeah.
Go check it out. We got new designs. We got new products.
There's a lot of stuff in
Yeah,
there.
we got a new merch manager. She's all over it. And
I got hella stickers.
Yeah, we got hundreds of products.
There's so many good stickers. Super Quest Saga merch up the Yang, dude.
The designs are so good these days, and we're working on more.
Yeah. I'm showing the camera stuff and it's not fucking on.
Oh,
Good
yeah,
for me.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't notice it, we were wearing merch on our bodies today.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a great way to support the show. So if you like what we do here and you want to show some sort of support, go buy a mug, go buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Christmas
I'm
is
the
on the
only-
way. If you want like merch, maybe tell your loved ones like, hey, go to this store, buy me some stuff.
Or for whatever holiday you celebrate too. Like
Yeah,
Will and I
that's true.
celebrate Christmas,
Yeah,
but that doesn't
absolutely.
mean that you guys do.
Yeah,
and
whatever
that's-
you celebrate.
Or-
If it involves gift giving,
Yeah.
maybe you can give a Dungeoncast gift.
Give a Dungeoncast gift to someone in need, and everybody needs it. Everybody needs it.
Absolutely. It's
yeah.
undeniable.
I sometimes I wear merch not on my body. It's my spectral form, but that's Brian exclusive Dungeoncast merch.
Yeah, we don't sell that stuff.
No.
We have a Patreon. If you want to support us that way,
yeah.
we have unique
remember
content.
that. I remember
and
Patreon.
we have
No.
exclusive content, exclusive products. We have a new design coming out, which we just got the art piece for. I'm going to be announcing it on the Discord day of this recording. So yeah, if you want a piece of that, go check us out on Patreon and support us. That's another way we keep the lights on here.
Lots of new art on the way. If we need something like merch or whatever, or merch, no. If we need like a piece of studio equipment, that's the pool.
That's how we
do it.
Exactly. And
so-
we've actually made a lot of upgrades lately.
Yeah.
And it's I think greatly improved the show.
Yeah, me too. And it's all thanks to you guys over on Patreon or like whoever be dropping us cash from wherever, because people do that every once in a while. They drop us a line like, hey, go buy yourself something nice, baby girls. And I say, ooh, thank you, I will.
Indeed.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, you guys. We really appreciate everything that you guys do for us, including share the show. Thank you guys for all the iTunes reviews. Holy shit, a lot of them came in.
Yeah, they did. Thank you. And
we're
you know what? We're almost there.
we're
We just
very
need like
close.
15 more. So if you're hearing this now and you haven't left a review, do it now. We're so close.
Yeah,
you could be the one. You could be number 1,000.
Yes. So the goal is to get us 1,000 iTunes reviews, which is a big milestone for podcasts.
It is.
So thank you guys so much for coming out and doing that. We usually get like a handful every week. Like, you know, some weeks it's 0, some weeks it's like 5.
We've been creeping up.
And it's been steady like that for a long time. They're very wonderful. They're all very fucking wonderful. So thanks to everybody who's left an iTunes review.
Indeed. Thank you
Seeing
both.
that big wave of them though was like, oh my gosh,
That
this
was
is
really
so.
cool.
It's like I was thinking about the very first time I didn't know Facebook told people it was your birthday. Early in the Facebook days when I had a Facebook, and
Right.
I was like getting all these birthday wishes. Like, these people fucking remember me. I was like, oh wait, no, this is not the case necessarily.
Yeah, they were reminded of me.
So really, I attribute that happiness feeling I felt to Mark Zuckerberg. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh boy.
That's the only thing I'll thank you for.
I think with that, we can call it a game.
Yeah, I
And
think so. Oh,
wait.
We have a P.O. box.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The address for the P.O. box is in the description below. Send us some stuff. Like, there was a big, I know Chemical from Discord was saying that there was a lot of hype about him specifically wanting to send us stuff. And I was like, you weren't the only one though, man. There was a lot of people talking that heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, it's time to buck up. It's time to buck up. We got a P.O. box. Send us some stuff. I don't care what it is. Postcard, a letter, something off our Amazon wish list.
Yeah. We could read fan mail on the podcast.
If you send us something, we'll read it. Because
Yeah,
I have to
absolutely.
go to a place to get that shit. And I won't forget.
Indeed.
Emails is one thing. You send me a fucking letter, that's gonna touch my heart.
That's something special.
That's something special, guys. We're gonna call it a game.
All right, we're calling it a game. We'll talk to you guys later.
Calling it a game.
Calling it a game. Game
Bye.
over.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.